I'm a third-year bioscience PhD student, and welcome to my presentation on generalizing treatment effect estimates from sample to population, a case study in the difficulties of finding sufficient data. So to start by defining the author's objectives, so they explore challenges to generalizing treatment effect estimates from trials to populations. And again, they focus on this challenge of finding sufficient data to do so. And so this is kind of obvious, but in randomized controlled trials, external validity is important, and generalizability is just a term for a suite of methods meant to address that. And the authors specifically use early childhood education as the context for their case study. And yeah, they really want to delve into the real world challenges as far as implementing these methods, as opposed to a more idealistic simulation study. Or so it's a good paper for looking at like how to go about implementing these methods in practice. And so they have both their trial sample and their population sample. And so as far as the trial goes, so it's Pennsylvania based, and it's on Head Start, which is a federal program. And specifically, they're curious about whether or not this READY enrichment program has a positive effect on these 4-year-olds in the context of the study. And in that, the authors of this paper specifically choose out the Elysian test, which is a metric for early literacy skills as of interest. And then they also compare that to the population sample, which is also a randomized controlled trial of its own, but it's nationally representative. So as we get into the methods, all they need are these common covariates across the trial sample and the population to be able to make this inference. So as far as the methods, though, they are aiming to estimate this population average treatment effect. And it's very similar to the inverse probability weighting of treatment, in that they just inverse probability weight the probability of being in the target population, with the goal of making this trial sample more similar to the target population. Just to highlight a couple of the findings, so from table 1, this is just one of the metrics that they used to evaluate whether or not their weighting was helpful in making the trial sample more similar to the population sample. And so they look at the difference in the standardized mean between when you unweight or just have your raw ready sample and when you do weight the ready sample, and they see a reduction across most of the covariates that they identified. And then as far as table 2 goes, they estimate a larger population average treatment effect, and that's kind of interesting in that it means that within the trial sample, those who are more nationally representative had a larger treatment effect, and that's what would be driving that finding. And just to get into their conclusions, so again, just underscores the complexities in trial data generalization to broader populations, and they highlight a need for easily accessible data repositories, and then they also talk about this need for definitional standards for common covariates. With their paper itself, like despite having several hundred possible covariates available, they were only able to identify 7 that they could use, which is pretty wild, especially given that they were both studies about the same topic. And then they also highlight the need for estimating treatment effect heterogeneity, especially because you can estimate the population average treatment effect, but you might have some subgroups that have a larger effect, and you might have some where it's actually a negative effect. And so this is a pretty broad summary statistic that they didn't have the power to detect. And we don't have time for questions, but thank you.
We don't have time for questions. Love the QR code though. So.
Thank you. Yeah, that's to the paper if you want it.
Oh, I thought it was like your bed now.
Oh, yeah.